Welcome back to the VR workshop. Today, more engine work. As we mentioned in the last video, our pistons that are getting manufactured have been delayed. We still don't know what the outcome is and what the delay will look like, but it does give us a bit more time to get into the gut of this engine and find out if there's any more damage to be done. What we're going to do next is take the cylinders and the heads off, set them down. We can look at the rocker boxes, see what the oil galleries look like in there, see if there's that same aluminium sludge or if they're clear, because from there, if we do both sides, we'll have a better idea of what it could look like inside the engine. As we mentioned before, I'm not keen on pulling this thing apart. We've only got one engine that's getting split down entirely. This is a spare one. If we split it in two, getting parts, etc., etc., it just causes more time and more effort. So let's pull the heads off and have a look. Okay, just pulling this off. Doesn't look too bad at first look. All that grey stuff's just the sealant which was put there when we rebuilt the engine. I'm not seeing too much sludge in there. Yeah, in fact, seeing fresh oil, which is nice. So we'll blow through some of these galleries here just to make sure that they're clean and free of everything. But yeah, it's not looking too bad. What is looking a bit funky is all the steel wheels for the belts. This whole engine was actually vapor blasted, and it's just obviously what the remnant says, but you'll probably get a wire brush to that and just get the worst off it and give it a spray. You can see the salt corrosion, it's fairly eating into everything. But yeah, that looks good. So, some good news here. We can feel some clean air coming all the way through the cam lube systems. There's little holes in here, so the oil comes through down through the shaft and blows out to lubricate all the moving parts. But we're getting air coming through every one of them, which is really good. It's just one side. Yeah. So the idea is when the cam's moving, you've got oil coming through. Oil is just spraying through the whole thing as the cam moves. But I mean, these are very, very small holes, and for them to be instantly open, excellent news. The next thing we need to check is the oil drain lines coming through. So we just blow these out there. I mean, they're very clear on both sides. So the oil comes in through, just spin this around. The oil comes in through an external hose. It's a braided hose, very similar to your brakes with the banjo bolt. Goes through the cams are hollow, it sprays through the ports, it sprays through here, lubricates all the bearings, sprays everything inside, and then obviously it gets drained out to these two holes here and here. Now from there, they drain through the cylinder ports here and here. There, that's all water and that's all water. So obviously the damaged cylinder we have has got cracked through the hole. But yeah, so the oil drains through here and here. And then, we'll give you a camera shot in a minute, but it drains through the two gaps at the bottom, the base of the cylinder on the block as well. So everything's clear, which is really good. Looking at this, I mean, we'll clean up the surfaces, we'll clean up the wheels. I think the first job is going to be to get the old sealant off the bottom and probably just reseal the cam box cover and just put it back in. I mean, it's good to go, so there's no point leaving it open. It's better to clean these wheels with the cam cover back and sealed. So we'll do that. We'll just seal it back up again. This thing's going to be good to go. Good news, progress. Okay, now that we've got all the gasket cleaned off, we're going to add more. This is a rubber gasket. It shouldn't need to have extra sealant, but belts and braces, you know, I'm not going to take that risk just for a little bit of an oil leak and to get kicked off tech and then I'll try not to pull one of these off when the engine's in place. That'd just be a nightmare. So we're just going to add some again and we'll button up the top again. But it's just going to be very, very thin sealing part, just enough for the mating faces to go onto. We don't want massive amounts. If we do, all the oil ports that you can see around the back of the camshaft, it's common if you use too much of this stuff that they can get blocked up. So that's definitely what we don't want. For those who are interested, the cam boxes or rocker tops here are different between the 998 and the 999. The 998, although being the same, was it Tesla Strata version 1 engine that they had, the engine's almost identical. They started off with a shallow sump, and the later 998 models had a deep sump, and then when we went to 999, the engine was pretty much the same, but you had stick coils, as opposed to with the 998 overhang of the 996 had separate coil packs and coil leads. So these are 999 rocker tops, and they've got this little addition of the 6mm threaded stud, so when you put your stick coil in there you can bolt it down. The 998 covers don't have that. Other than that, and some of the way the water pump comes, or the water galleries come out the side of it, is slightly different. Other than that, they're exactly the same. For all the nerds out there who would like to know, I only know because I started with a 988 engine and I had to buy these separate because I had stick coils for it. And the stick coils that you can use on this is the exact same stick coils that you can use on the 848s, 1098s, 1198s, etc. They're all exactly the same. So, good enough little film on there. And we'll lay the gasket down. There should be little pins in the bottom just to hold it in place. There they are. As I said, we don't want too much in here. It's just enough to make sure we've got a guaranteed seal, that's all. God damn it, and it's fiddly. And it's definitely going to be easier for me to coat the surface of this rubber than it is trying to get into all the nooks and crannies there. But again, I just want a little bit, just a thin application. Okay, here comes the fun part. Okay, just make sure it's sitting in all the right places, which it is. Beautiful. And we'll button up. These nuts have actually got shoulders on them, so you cannot over tighten them. There's a little, although it's a metal top, there's actually a bit of rubber, it's like a little bush, so it squeezes down, but there's no way you can actually put too much pressure on the gasket. In fact, there's the stud that's come out of that one. It's quite an ingenious little idea, actually. For those who are wondering why I'm not using a brand new gasket, well, this gasket was brand new before the engine went in the bike, and what we did 7 runs plus some testing. We're lucky if we did 100 miles on this engine, so it's still pretty much brand new. So that's why. Calling it good. Ready to run again. Now we're just going to clean up some of the surface rust on the pulleys, and then we'll give them a good light oil or WD-40 or something like that to stop them rusting any further. Now there is one thing we need to fix before we put this cylinder head back on, and I totally forgot about it. There's a small broken stud just at the side of the inlet here. That is a vacuum pipe which runs to the blow-off valve, which is in the gearbox, which is the other side of that broken piece right there. So the way this works is we have throttles. I'm going to play juggling here. Throttle body sit there, our airbox sits there, and this was connected into the bottom port here. So what happens is when the throttle's open and the engine's boosting, all this is under pressure. And when the throttle closes, it pulls a vacuum from here because it's underneath the butterflies. And as it pulls a vacuum, it pulls this diaphragm up and then it releases all the air in the airbox. So it doesn't backspool the turbo and keeps the turbo spinning. So on run, I think it was 5, we were flying down the salt. I can't remember if we were actually in the measured mile or not. And there was this engine just died, suddenly just cut out, no power, nothing. No warning, didn't know what happened. So we pulled it back to the pits to have a look at it. I was concerned the engine had properly let go. And after quite a bit of troubleshooting, we found that the throttle bodies here, let's move this out of the way, had managed to pop off the rubbers, just enough. So it took us a while to notice what the issue was. And what's happening is there's so much boost pressure that it actually popped the throttle bodies straight off the rubber mounts here. Now, the airbox has actually got a hole through it, and it's bolted down to here. So the airbox is actually mechanically fixed to the throttle bodies. But the only thing that's holding the throttle bodies onto the rubbers is the standard Jubilee clip. So we figured out the problem, we put the rubbers back on, we then put a big ratchet strap around the whole lot and went back out again. But what we didn't know is when it did pop off, it's obviously taken this hose, the hose is tightened and it's broken the fitting off entirely. So we need to get an easy out and see if we can get this little part here out. Hopefully we'll be lucky. Okay, bigger question is, how lucky are we going to be? It's either going to come out real easy or it's going to fight us. Fingers crossed. That's not a good start, is it? Okay. Let's see how easy this is going to be for us. Or not. Ooh, baby. Would you look at that? It's not often you get a win that easy. I'll take it. Well, after that little win, I think it's worth quitting while we're ahead. There's obviously still a lot to do with this engine. In the next video we'll get the vertical head and cylinder off, and we'll just do a complete repeat of what we've done with this one. Quite confident that it's going to be okay. The oil usually drains down, this one drains on the side, so if this one's clear, I'm pretty sure that one's going to be clear too. That, the oil pump and everything else, it's all signs that this is positive. We're also needing to look at the ring gaps in the cylinders. One thing with blow-in engines, turbocharged, supercharged, because of the more intense compression you have in there, it's advisable to open up the gap. Now we did this on the 1188 supercharged engine. It was never done on this engine because we didn't rebuild it. We bought it as a refreshed engine ready to go. But out of interest, I'm going to check the ring gaps in the top and the secondary ring to see how tight they were, because it's quite possible that could have had a factor in the crack in the cylinder as well. That's all for the next video. Hope you're enjoying this. Thanks for watching. If you are enjoying it, give us a like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.